Because if I can get you to understand what your goal is for 2019, then I can very easily start to structure how you're going to get there. And I want to just start opening it up to everybody so that you guys can ask me any questions you want, as this is our first call together. And otherwise, we're going to go jump right into what we want to be talking about, which is going to be the biggest challenges and then the actions that need to be taken, and move in from there.
Right. Sorry, these are new headphones. So, I mean, I got fired more or less jokingly, but I'm really not an active role in the wholesaling company. So I'm sort of sitting in the back, just kind of watching the whole thing happen and trying to assist in any way that I can. One of the things that I have is 5 years worth of wholesaling and doing flipping and everything. I have tons of leads coming in. So once we built this, what I've been doing is trying to figure out a process as to the leads and where they go and then how they get into the system, which I've been kind of either screwing it up or I was just misinformed, because I was sending them to Shauna and to Alan to input into Podio, and then just assuming that once I send them off, they're getting contacted. But, I don't really know what is my next role after that. And then I'm here in the office with the team every day, and I hear kind of everybody talking, and there's just a lack of communication. That's the biggest problem we have right now. It's just there is no communication. Nobody really knows what they're supposed to be doing, and I'm really just sort of supposed to be staying hands off and not be involved, and I am, and I truly am. So I communicate with Alan and with Larissa, who's not on, or she is on the phone, with Alan and with Larissa, just about what I'm seeing, and I think that's it. It's just a lack of communication. When we had Jerry Green, he put together the entire plan, processes, systems, and everybody took that and ran with that, and now things are changing a little bit. So I think everybody's just trying to adjust to the changes, and I think a lot of people, just from my standpoint, are sitting back waiting for direction from leadership as to, okay, well, what are we doing? How much are we going to spend on marketing? What is the marketing plan? And in all fairness, Alan and Larissa maybe just don't have that done yet, which is fine. But again, I have a responsibility to be involved, but not be involved. And I guess I struggle with that, Justin. I think it's hard because I committed to Alan that I will have zero involvement for the next, 6 weeks. So it's 5 weeks now. So I just need to kind of know what is my role and what should I be doing or should I not be doing, especially when I see things from more of a holistic view, because I'm just sitting here watching the whole thing unfold and watching what's happening. And I kind of know the concerns or the frustrations or just the lack there of anything, just from being here every day.
Okay. I think that was a good outline of where your frustration and or concern would be, which is great. So now we got to kind of jump into people's roles, which would be a main factor of who's doing what, right? And so I think a large part, especially when you have a team like this, and especially when you're combining two companies, so to speak, and forgive me if I'm using wrong terms, but that's how I see it, right? I basically see kind of Alan and what his team and Chris and Larissa and your team, and you guys are basically saying, hey, I think we're going to be better together than we are apart. I think we can conquer more. We can do more. More revenue can come through the door. Everyone can make more money. Is that a simple way of explaining it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would say, there are going to be challenges, and part of that is making sure that the communication is open. Again, for most entrepreneurs, including myself, communication isn't terribly challenging for myself, but most entrepreneurs, especially the visionaries and the creatives, they have a hard time communicating. Very natural, right? They're the A-type personality. They just go do it. They tell people what to do without having conversations, right? It tends to be an issue in most companies. And now you combine two companies, and there's going to obviously be, that's a no-dust statement that you guys are going to have a lack of good communication, okay? So that's why I'm here. That's why you guys actually brought me in. So every 2 weeks, we can get some of this shit out, right? To say, who's right, who's wrong, what should be done, what shouldn't be done. and I can be completely objective about it because I don't have a dog in the fight, right? So I don't want to spend too much time on why, you're potentially not involved in the day-to-day for 6 weeks. That was set in place prior to me getting there, so I don't want to change that. I would just say, okay, so taking that as where it is, then I would say we need to really focus on separating roles out with the team at this point, and that's just going to be based around you guys telling me who's doing what in what fashion, right? From marketing to leads to CRMs to follow up to negotiating to appointments to all the day-to-day shit should be going on. Who's doing what and where, right? So I don't care who picks up the ball there, but I think there needs to be a layout of.
Johnny, you want to roll with that? You've got you should have the plan in front of you or with you that I sent.
No, I don't. Did you just send it to me?
A little while ago, right after you asked for it.
For some reason, I don't think I got it actually, Alan. I just got this. But I am supposed to. Larissa and Ellen are like the visionary, and then I'm supposed to kind of execute their plan. We are having a little bit of trouble coming up with the initial plan for us to then execute.
Okay.
Kind of coming off a little slower start than any of us are used or want to, but it just like we're all doers and like go-getters, but it's just not working right now is my personal on the whole thing.
Okay. So I'll kind of drive the ship for a moment based around what I know needs to be done in any business. And then you guys, we're going to start to implement who's doing it, right? So let's focus on the first and biggest priority of all businesses, and that's going to be your marketing. Because without any type of marketing, without any type of lead flow, you're not going to get any deals regardless of any of it, right? So currently, what are your marketing strategies?
So we have, go ahead.
Okay. We haven't really set any marketing out yet. I made a website. We made a Facebook page. Ellen sent out a ringless voicemail campaign on Friday. We haven't really picked our focus area yet. Like, I don't know that we have. I don't know what we're after right now. Like exactly. Like, I don't know what our demographic is. What our like. Everybody here has the knowledge of the whole realm of wholesaling and and we just like aren't focusing on one thing yet.
Yeah.
We're deciding if we want to focus on 10 things. It's kind of.
So I tried sitting down and like making like a postcard, and I didn't know how much room I was going to have, where to place all the information, what my message was, what our campaign is. We had a couple of ideas, and so I don't want the postcard to have too much information, but not enough.
Yeah. So who does your mail? Have you guys done mail ever? And maybe the answer is no, I don't.
We've done it for other like events, like not necessarily for wholesaling. We've done overnight prints and Vista print and stuff like that, and then
Right. So let's first start with the biggest subject in the room. What is your marketing budget? Maybe you don't know that, right? And so this could be an action plan to put together your marketing budget. When I say marketing budget, I don't mean, I have $5,000 for next month. That's not a marketing budget. I mean, what can you spend every single month for the next 6 months without making one single dollar back? That's a marketing budget. To say, I'm going to go in the hole, let's call it $60,000 for a marketing budget for the next 6 months. Because I know if I go in the hole $60,000, I'm going to come back out with $180,000 out of it at the end of the year. I'm using just the idea of 1 to 3, right? Obviously, it doesn't work quite like that. But when I'm giving advice and when I'm coaching, you always want to, especially people like yourself, you want to have the expectation of I'm going to go down into a hole first before I pull myself back out with marketing. that, I mean, even just the first month, right? You spend and then you have to wait for the leads to come in. So you guys need to have a marketing budget that is set every single month. Can that increase? Yes, but it damn sure can't decrease. So is that something that you guys need to figure out?
I kind of already ran the numbers and looked at it. I mean, it's something that we have to figure out company-wide, but I thought it was $2,500 a month.
Do we want to all agree upon that, or?
What's that break down to a week? Do you know, Chris? 750?
Yeah, I believe that would be about it. And it was broken down by the different campaigns that we run, from direct mail, ring voice, voicemail, just all the campaigns were broken out. I don't have that slide in front of me to look at it, but that's pretty much what we did.
So $2,500 a month is going to be very hard for you guys to have multiple marketing strategies, especially direct mail being one of them. Direct mail is very expensive. I say that relative to get the amount of leads you guys would really like to bring in. So first and foremost, I think one of the actionable items is you need to understand, what your end goal is first, right? Like where do you want this relationship to go? Because then we can work it back. Meaning, I want this relationship to bring in 25 deals this year. Okay, well, that's not a massive number. How do we get 25 deals, right? How many people do we need to be talking to? How much profit per deal, and just kind of understanding the KPIs so that you know how much marketing needs to be done. Because I can tell you right now, if you put $2,500 into direct mail, that's roughly going to give you 5,000 mail pieces, roughly. And so, 1% of 5,000 is 50. Half of that's 25. You're going to get roughly 25 calls. Half of those calls are going to be fuck yous. So now you're down to 12.5 calls that, roughly half of those 12.5 calls become leads. Does that make sense? Like, I can tell you that right now because of the mastermind, because I just know all the numbers, because I just keep track of it all, right? Like, that's the national average. And so you got roughly anywhere from 6 to, at very best, 12 leads out of that spend. Are you guys good enough to convert 1 out of 12 at best, which is likely more closer to 1 out of 6? The answer is no.
Yeah,
you might get lucky, you might get a laydown, but 1 out of 12 is very, very good, right? We're 1 out of 18, right? So if you gave me that number, I'd say, no, I can't get a deal out of 12. And it's likely more like 1 out of 6. So again, if you just do the math, you have 3 months of spending $2,500 a month on direct mail to get 1 deal.
That doesn't make logical sense.
Yeah, some of the houses are only like $35,000 to $45,000. The ones in the city, anyway. So
let's stop for a second. Did you guys see how I did that? Now I do this a lot, so it's very easy. But I want you to see how I did that. Did you guys follow that math and all that transition? Somewhat, because I'm happy to go slower and kind of math that out for you.
I know there's a few people who have never seen it reversed like that. So if you want to, it'd probably be beneficial.
Sure. So direct mail as a whole still gets 1% callback ratio. So you can roughly, we do a little bit better because we send mass volume, but you can estimate that 1 piece of mail is going to cost you 50 cents between printing, postage, blah, 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 blah. It might be a little bit better, or maybe even more depending upon what you're doing. But the estimation is every piece of mail is going to cost you 50 cents. So in that case, if you're sending $2,500 worth of mail, that means you're going to get 5,000 mail pieces, roughly. 1% callback ratio total of 5,000 mail pieces is 50. That's total calls. Half of your total calls will be people that tell you to fuck off. So now you're down to 25 calls. half of your 25 real calls are going to be unrealistic people. They called back because they said, hey, anything's for sale for the right number. Hey, I'm calling because I'm interested to hear what you want to offer me. They don't have really any motivation of selling, right? So they're unworkable leads is what we call them. So now you're down to 12. 12 workable leads at best. So that's why I'm saying if you can convert 1 out of 20, you are up there with the 1%ers, right? The people that really do this business, that are good at conversion, that are good at negotiating, that are good at sales, right? 1 out of 20 is where you want to be. We're 1 out of 18 for direct mail. The point to that being is if you have 12 real leads, you're not even getting a deal. Can you get a deal? Yes. I mean, anyone can fall ass backwards into someone that needs to sell right now at an incredible discount. I mean, we get a couple a month. I get that. But you can't bank on that. That's not a business strategy. That's back to hope, right? So if you just do the math, 1 out of 20, let's just even call it 1 out of 18, you got to do at least 2, more likely 3 months of marketing to get that one deal. So that's roughly $7,500 in the hole you went to get the one deal, which, depending upon your market, may or may not be a good thing. How much do you make per deal? If you make 30 grand, well, then I would do that all day long. I'll spend 7,500 to make 30. I'll do it all day long. If you guys make 5 grand, not such a great deal, right? So not sure you guys even know the average wholesale fee you guys are getting yet. Do you?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the board. We're looking around 7 to 10.
Makes sense based around the price point. So back to the math. If you guys went direct mail only, and that is literally only direct mail based around your budget, you're breaking even in 3 months. Now, anything can happen. Like, I'm not trying to be too doom and gloom. Anything can happen. Can you knock one out of the park? All that stuff. That's awesome. But, I mean, you probably start to have a little realization of, is direct mail my marketing strategy for that marketing spend? What do you guys think?
I think you'd have to spend more on direct mail to get it to work.
Right. That's exactly right. Now,
There's other things that make a better return, right, Alan? You said like ringless voicemail is greater. Maybe we should.
Right. So having the direct mail, I was on a call with Ryan yesterday, and his mailing campaign, it's roughly, we can get it between 90 cents and $1, depending on which route we go. It's all handwritten via the machine, ballpoint ink, so it all looks, like somebody actually wrote it. It's in an envelope, colorful envelope. The envelope's handwritten also. His return rate on, obviously, callbacks is higher than going through like yellow letter, postcards, and all those stuff.
okay.
So my thought was doing his mailing campaign, also connected with ringless voicemail, followed up with text messaging and cold calling those numbers also.
I don't
So
know.
that's kind of where.
I mean, if you're at $1 per, let's just round it up from 90 cents to $1 per mail piece.
Okay.
How many mail pieces were you thinking about putting out there?
1,000 every 3 weeks.
Okay. So that, and he says, what's his callback ratio?
I don't remember the exact, I don't have it in front of me, but it was like 3 to 1 for what regular mailings were. So if somebody was getting on 1,000, they were getting 1%. So what's that, 10? Right?
Mm-hmm. So you get 30.
He was getting 30.
Okay. I mean, if he is doing that, he will very quickly become the largest direct mail house that anyone's aware of, because no one's getting that. Now, maybe he's talking about a very specific list. Maybe he's talking, I mean, I don't know what to say to that because that sounds, if it's really that good, then I'm 100% going over to him, and so will everybody in the boardroom because it's just, that's very unrealistic. Because that means he's getting a 3%
And the reason
callback
he's
ratio.
getting, and the reason he's getting that is because it looks like somebody actually hand wrote it with a pen. You know, he's got that $10,000 or $15,000 or whatever, how much it was, to actually handwrite the letters, the envelopes, everything. So it's more personalized. It's got their names on it. It's not like just, you know, when we go to yell letters, everything's already pre-written or, you know, printed off of, looks like it's handwritten, but it's, you know, from the printer. And that's why he's getting a better return rate.
One of the things that I was concerned about, because I happen to know, I know about Ryan and kind of what he's doing, but they only have 2 machines to read it. Their volume is not anywhere near, with a better return rate, yes, but can he actually give us 1,000 every 6 weeks? The machines are really slow. There's one person,
Yes.
if one of them were to fall off, those machines are incredibly specialized. So if there was something to go wrong with them, it would take a lot longer than like a couple days to fix it. So that was kind of just from what
He has no problem meeting that quota.
Okay.
So, you know, listen, I don't know what to say about it. I would love to see if he has any examples to send over. I'd love to see it just because I have a feeling it's not going to be any different than any of the big mail houses that have the handwriting machines. But I don't know without seeing anything. I would say for him to say he gets a 3% callback ratio is just tough for me to believe. But I don't use them. I don't know anyone who uses them. So I would tell you that does not sound realistic. So take it for what it is. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. You know, one thing that I would always be an advocate of is you guys trying different shit. So if you believe this is your guy, then go for it 100%, because you guys have to understand this business is all marketing. I think you guys have heard this enough from me, but I literally run 6 different marketing strategies in my business. And sometimes PPC kills it, and then sometimes direct mail kills it, and then sometimes the call floor kills it, and then sometimes our voicemail drops are killing it, right? Like, it's never always one marketing strategy that is just always the best. Because if that ever became the case, then I would dump everything in because it's obviously the best. So over the year, it was funny because direct mail, for the most part of the year, was and then Q4, it just exploded for us. And it became, over the year, a 6X model. So we went back, we did our yearly review. For every $1 we put in direct mail, we got $6 back. That is awesome. But it wasn't the case for the whole year. It just so happened that in Q4, it became incredibly profitable. For you guys don't have the marketing budget or bandwidth to wait fucking 9 months before you see that. Because literally for 9 months, it was like maybe a 2X model. Like I think we were at like 1.8 to 2.2 the whole year. And we're like, well, it's making us money, but it's not lighting our world on fire.
It's making us money, but it's not.
Does that all make sense? So this is where I'm going to be an advocate of you guys trying cool shit, new mail houses, new everything. But you can't go into it with anything less than, you know, really 120 days of bandwidth to try it and do it, if that makes sense. Like, I think a lot of people talk about you need to try direct mail for 90 days minimum. I don't even really believe that. I mean, 120 days minimum is closer, but really you got to stick to it for 6 months. It just doesn't. Gone are the days. I feel like that's so old school. That's what everyone was talking about 10 years ago. But those days are gone. You have to be able to try something for at least 6 months to give it any value of whether good, bad, or ugly. So I'm an advocate of using this guy. I'm an advocate of trying this guy. I would say do it because you've never done it before. And then you get to measure them and say, hey, dude, you are just like every other mail guy in the world. And it's a 1% callback ratio. Half of those are shit. And then the other half are unworkable. Or You are the anomaly. You're the rock star. You figured everything out. We're going to double down on it. So that's my answer to that.
Shauna, did you have something you wanted to say?
How you do your 6 months direct mail, like do you do the same message for 6 months? Do you adjust it at all, or you just pick a message, an offer or whatever, and hold until you figure out after those 6 months how it did?
Yeah, so the secret to direct mail and making any changes, you only make one change at a time, period. Because you will never know. Like if you go in and do one message, one envelope, one everything the same, and then 3 months later you want to change the envelope, you want to change the message, you want to change the print, well then what worked? Right? If it becomes better, what part worked? Was it the envelope? Was it the letter? Was it the color? Was it the print? You'll never know. So we like to remain the same for the period. So for example, if you guys are going to go for 6 months, I would say the first 3 months, same message, same envelope, same everything. The next 3 months, you change one thing. Maybe it's the color of envelope. Maybe it's the handwriting. Maybe it's the color of the ink. Maybe it's whatever, right? Here's the key to all of it. You got to get the envelope opened first if you're doing a letter, right? So your envelope is, in my opinion, the most important part because you got to get that thing opened. And if they feel like it's junk mail, then what do you do with junk mail? You don't even open it. You just throw it straight in the trash. So the next part to this whole thing, who are you guys targeting? Do you guys know? Do you guys have a list?
Does anyone want to take that, or?
Yes, I have it. Let's trying to find it here. I think it's actually at the office. So it was distressed lists, distressed sellers, or distressed houses.
Absentee.
Non-owner occupied. Didn't matter whether out of state or in state. God, what else was?
Need cash.
X month. They've had a property for X amount of time. I'm just kind of
So you assess value, length of ownership, owner occ, absentee, and year the home's built. Usually, I mean, you guys are in the East Coast, so you probably have some crazy dates. I don't, but I would say 2000 and older for the year built. So you need to pull those lists and see how big that is. Can you come up with 1,000? Right? If you guys have 1,000 mail pieces going out, then that's not a very big list, which is awesome, right? So you can likely get that. But here's the reality, guys. If you're pulling a list of 1,000, are you able to scale a business? This is what I wanted to always go back to. What do you have? Start with the end in mind. How many deals every month do you want to get done? Because you'll get a deal every other month with a list of 1,000. So at the end of the year, you'll get 6 deals done. Is that enough, right? So you guys got to start thinking about what's the end in mind. So I'd actually like to take a little bit of time here now, talking through that. What does that look like for you guys? Where are you trying to go? What is your goal for 2019? Because if I can get you to understand what your goal is for 2019, then I can very easily start to structure how you're going to get there. That's going to be a very, very important thing for you guys.
We need 1.5 deals a week, 71 deals annually, 18 deals quarterly. We need an annual leads of 2,857, quarterly of 714. 60 leads are needed a week. That's gross profit is 7,000 with an annual revenue of 500,000. Now that's not including any JV deals, referrals, or self-generated deals into the mix. That is just solely from marketing deals, nothing else.
So 1.5 deals a week, Alan?
Correct. Hey,
So what is 1.5 deals a week? So let's just even
Hey, Colby.
again go back to the direct mail piece. How in the hell do you think you're going to get
Yeah,
1.5
can I call you
deals a
right
week
back? I'm
out
on
of
a
1,000
conference.
mail pieces every 3 weeks? You can't.
What was that?
You guys need a deal and a half every week, correct?
So it's like 6,000 mailers.
A week. Well, I mean,
So again, you just got to think. I love the idea that, like Alan, I'm very impressed because most people say, okay, well, we got to figure that out. I love that you had all that, but then work it backwards. How in the hell are you going to get a deal and a half a week from 1,000 mail pieces going out? I mean, the answer is you won't. I just did the math for you. It's going to take you anywhere from 2 to 3 months to get a deal, which is 12 weeks, let's call it. So now what? Where else do we need to go? How else do we need to do it?
So we have a couple. So we have some deals already in the pipeline that have came in through off channels already. So those are in our market to also, I guess, help that process of those 3 months of getting all the mailings and calls out and all that stuff also.
Yeah, so my understanding is just you guys have a reputation in the market. Deals flow to you through your reputation. Is that what you're saying? JV stuff, people know you, you run meetup
Correct.
groups, you're on TV, people saying, hey, come help us with this deal, we'll do a split, whatever. That kind of stuff?
Yes. Plus we run the local REI. So yeah, a lot of deals do flow naturally or whatever.
Yeah,
Forget the
organically.
word, but yes,
Organically.
So,
organically. There
which
you
is
go.
great. So maybe you guys need to start there. What is your goal every month to bring in deal-wise organically before you spend a fucking dollar? Because truth be told, your marketing budget is so low, that should really be your focus, is your organic lead flow.
Nice.
Now, I don't know if you're going to get a deal every week, right?
No.
But if you can get 2 a month, it's a damn start, right? And that's not setting the world on fire. That's actually just saying I'm going to have intention with what I'm doing to get off-market properties, right? To get JV deals, to get deals that people bring to me because, again, you guys were on TV, or you run your RIA meeting, or you run your meetup groups, or you speak at lunch and learns at title companies, whatever that may be. Those are the things that will bring you those deals. But you need to put massive intention behind that. You can't haphazardly say, oh, well, people just know us, so we get shit done. You will lose. That is the mindset of someone who's not going to be able to actually sustain a workable business. It might do okay for a very short amount of time, but if you don't put intention around it with running your RIA every single month, running another meetup group every month, so that means you have 2 meetings that you guys are in front of each other every single month, making sure that you guys are cold calling and networking with other investors, making sure that you're putting things on Facebook, Instagram, social media, and otherwise saying, hey, I'm looking for more opportunities to work with you guys, making sure you're asking people to come work in your office if you have one, to say, hey, come work in the office, let's try to get some deals done, making sure you put intention behind what you're doing, then you have a business model. But just haphazardly saying, we naturally get shit brought to us, that's not a model. That is not sustainable. You won't be able to predict any type of revenue or outcome.
And that doesn't work on a consistent basis. I'll be the first to tell you, just with all the deals we've done, it's all organic relationships with estate brokers, with bank brokers, with, all the different channels that we've created. One of the biggest things that we've been doing recently is boosted Facebook ads with a picture of our cute little orange cat. And that actually got us, just the last one we did, it was $100 boost. And that got us 3. I mean, nothing.
3 deals?
3 leads.
Okay.
Leads. And if those leads were worked, maybe something could come of them. But it's just still, that worked off $100. So what would that do if we spent $1,000?
Right. Now, again, I'm an advocate of that shit, right? Like, I'm a marketer. My head thinks like, how do I get in front of more people? How do I just tell people, hey, I'm looking for fucking deals. I'm looking for deals, right? So I love that. Now, you guys did it and kind of just said, well, fuck, we got 3 people that said something, but nothing happened. Now, in this call, we're not even going to talk about the back end yet, because I think there's going to be several calls that we really have to dial in this front end, right? Chris, to your point, who's doing what? Like, let's just say we all agree, which isn't going to be the case this call. Here's exactly what you're doing. Here's how much money hit. Well, now we still need to say who handles it, where does it go, who's talking, like all the other roles that you guys mentioned, right? I don't even think we're going to get to there on this call. But I do think that you guys really need to map out, like your first action plan I have on here, which again, I'm sending this to you. What's your list? Get mail set up. If you guys believe in mail, based on what Alan said, if that is the case and that is true, I would love for you guys to try it, because the reality is I've never heard of someone being able to provide that good of callback ratio. So if he can, you guys are going to win for sure, 100%. But you don't know until you try it. So I have here to get your mail out. But the other thing I really think is the biggest thing between now and our next call will be put some KPIs to your end of the 2019. Put the year fast forward. It is December 31st, and you look back at your business, right? And you say, we brought in 30 deals organically this year. We brought in 15 deals with paid marketing. We brought in, right, whatever. You need to put those as KPIs as a goal. And you need to then go back in to say, we brought in 30 deals this year organically by doing, and then you have a list of the actionable items you need to be doing. For example, technically, you said you did an IG post, or was it a Facebook post of your orange cat?
Facebook.
Either way, that's technically paid, which would not be organic, right? Organic would be you guys literally post that orange cat as a real post without paid. And someone says, hey, dude, I got a deal for your orange cat, or whatever it said, right? How are you doing it? What are those actionable items? You guys need to figure that out. I think the majority of your business this year, while working with me, will be likely the organic. And the paid marketing will bring in 25% of your deal flow. By the way, I'm saying that now on the first call without us really being able to have a lot of time yet together. That very easily could flip, right? Because as you guys are bringing in more money into your business, you're going to be able to pay more for your marketing, which will then lead to more opportunity, right? So again, based on our first call, I think the majority of what you guys really need to focus on is the functions of who's doing the organic. So let me stop there. Whose role so far does that fall on? Whose plate? And if you guys don't know, that's okay. That's why we're on the call.
The organic role?
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say it falls on me because,
So Chris, someone just called 22 minutes ago and said the mom is looking to sell their home and it would be perfect for a flip. It's a ton of money to call them. So things just happen.
Right. And it happens. So let's just, when I say me, or I'm referring to me and Larissa. So we have a large following. A large social following, large Insta following. So when we put a message out there, there's a lot of active people, and they are instantly answered and facilitated and put into Podio and called and worked, because that's where I fell off. That's where I did direct mail. Just before this company ever started, we did direct mail. And we got such an overwhelming response of people calling back, solid leads, that I literally couldn't get back to them all. So I started having other people making calls, and I just lost track.
Got it.
So those PI measures are where we're going to have problems if we can't figure the back end out. I can tell you right now. So the boosted Facebook ads, that'll be a big source just because of we have a big following. So that'll work. The direct mail will absolutely work and should be one of our key metrics that we use. Even if I don't have a say, I'm just going to put it on the table right now. It works. It's worked for us. We've made business because of that. And I would hate to see that we're not throwing proper resources at that avenue, because it will work.
I love it, which is great. I'm glad that you guys have the confidence. So to your point, part of that will be just the management of the lead flow. Okay. So just to talk about that, what do you guys use? Podio, Investor Fuse? I don't give a shit. What is it?
Shauna?
Podio.
Good.
Podio.
I have a Podio guy who is awesome. I pay him, I think, $45 an hour. So anytime I need a tweak, I'm doing this, I'm setting up a new thing, whatever, I'm bringing a different phone number, I call him and I say, get it done, right? And he just puts it all together. Zapier is an app that I believe we pay something for. That's what connects all the different shit. And what I love about Podio is because, for example, Chris, if you are in the field and you're meeting with Realtor X, Y, and Z, and Realtor X, Y, and Z says, dude, we're getting a packet of 12 from so-and-so, I can get it to you first. You can literally be at the meeting on Podio, putting it into Podio immediately, tasking, let's just say, Alan, to follow up with this situation, right? Does that make sense? So that's why I love Podios, because you can do it real time live. If you need me to introduce you to my Podio guy, I'm happy to. But the reality is, it may or may not be needed. The key to all of this is going to be setting up a number for all your inbound marketing so that you can dedicate it to a campaign. That's very trackable. So for example, in Podio, Chris, you might be your own campaign, truthfully, right? You're the networking guy. Like I have on here is you need to have daily tasks every single day that you need to be performing for your networking purposes, because that is what brings in your organic, right? And when that happens, you go into Podio, whether it's desktop or on your phone, and you put in that lead under campaign Chris. So we all now know that lead came through Chris, which it doesn't have to say Chris. I'm just saying if your and Larissa's function is the network in organic, then you can put it as under organic campaign. And everyone knows that's a function of you and Larissa.
So that's easy. Just Shauna, if you can just set me up with Podio, give me one place where I just go in, I answer the leads. I'll stay out of everything else you guys are doing. Just give me one thing, and all these leads, I'll pop them in Podio, and then
super easy.
It worked.
Again, let me know. I'm happy to introduce you to Joe, or Joseph, I call him. His name's Joseph. He's happy to do that. He's really inexpensive because he does it pretty quick. But for sure, does anyone see a reason why Chris, I get that he has 5 years sabbatical or 5 weeks sabbatical or whatever we're calling this, right? But does anyone see a reason he can't go into Podio and fucking say, met with Johnny, he has 2 homes, 123 Main Street and 1234 Main Street. Alan, I'm just using, I don't know who it is. Alan, make sure to call on Monday. Can he do that?
Right.
That's all he's pretty much wanting him to do right now.
Perfect. And
his thing is he wants to focus on his money school, speaking stuff where he's not typically engaged in the day-to-day operations of the wholesaling business. And that's why, we were just putting him off to the side so that we can make the day-to-day decisions, how things are getting set up, and do our KPIs off of what's working, what's not working. And then at that time, we can kind of see, okay, this isn't working or this is working. He can come back and say, okay, so this hasn't worked. This is my thoughts. Let's move this way.
Yep.
So what my original view, and him and I interviewed a couple. We liked one, which my thought was having her answer all our incoming bound calls, insert them all into Podio, and then obviously if it's a lead, she can live send it off to the acquisitions person or whoever it needs to go to, whether it's a buyer or a seller. And that person can then follow up with that person within minutes of that phone call.
Yeah, so here's what I would say just to close this gap. Once we get Chris set up into Podio, you guys will create a campaign called Chris or Organic or whatever. Chris then tasks, let's just say it's you, Alan, follow up with Johnny about his 2 properties on Monday. At that point, Chris will tell Johnny, hey, Johnny, I'm going to have my guy Alan follow up with you on Monday. I really appreciate it just because I'm so busy. I can't put any more on my plate, but Alan's going to be calling you to follow up. Chris then set the tone that it will remove him from that engagement, set the plate for you, Alan. Chris is now out of the entire equation, gave you Johnny, who has 2 opportunities, which is awesome. And now it is up to Alan's job to take over 100% of that situation. Okay. That's how that would go moving forward. And then to Chris has to have daily functions to be proactive for tasks like that. How many Johnnies can he get in front of to then put in a lead or put in a seller lead and hand it over to Alan? That's the key to that whole functionality. Is every day Chris and Larissa need to be out there going for, let's call it, whatever, 20 leads a week. Whatever you guys dictate what needs to be done every single week to bring in organically, just like you do with direct mail, just like you would do with PPC. What happens is people don't actually put a KPI to their organic. They just say, okay, I'm going to go try to drive leads. I'm going to go do a meetup. Or I'm going to go, but they don't say, I need to bring in 20 leads a week organically so we can convert one. So that's where you guys would meet on your weekly meetings without me saying, all right, Chris and Larissa, or maybe it's just Chris, did you bring in 20 leads? Dude, you brought in 8. What happened? What were you doing? Right? And then Chris is held accountable for his lack of lead flow. Just like direct mail would be held accountable for, okay, the mail went out, we didn't get as many leads. What do we do here? How do we pivot? What do we do? Same idea. Does that make sense?
20 is a bit steep, so let's not put 20 in anyone's head here.
I gotcha. Organically tends to be less
Just
volume,
making sure.
more conversion. But you do need a goal. I mean, maybe it's a 3 a week, whatever that number is, right? Maybe it's 1 a week, maybe it's 2 a week, maybe it's 3 a week. But you need to have a goal that you need to go achieve, just like any salesperson. Like, I need to go bring in the lead so my team can convert it, right? So that has to be agreed upon. How many leads are you bringing in every week? Doesn't mean deals, right? How many leads? So that part is great. Now, what I think I'm hearing, or I guess what I'm not hearing, is who does anything when the lead comes in? Who is dedicated to touch that lead first?
Shauna and Alan, how it's supposed to be set up. Go ahead.
Well, the original plan was having the VA answer all the calls. Anytime something comes in, she's the first initial touch where she does the asking all the pertinent questions, getting all that information put into Podio, and then from there it's directed down to the individual who it needs to go to.
Okay.
Which is you, right? Because you're acquisitions.
Yeah. So once it's been inputted into Podio, so it's like on this last call rail or RVM I sent out, I had 78 calls. I know a couple of them are leads from them. So, but there was a good portion of said, put me on your do not call list. I don't know how you got your number, typical shit.
Typical.
That way she's answering all them calls and getting, whether they want to be put on taken off our list, whatever. She's putting all that information in, figuring out what's hot, what's cold, getting all the pertinent information, putting it into Podio. From there, it gets directed to whatever individual it needs to go, whether it's myself or Andrew, whether it's a buyer, if it's a seller, if it's JV, whatever the deal, whatever it is. From that point on, then it goes down the line. Mm-hmm. So once it's put in, if it's a lead, it's coming to me. That's where I work it till it's dead. If I can't close it, we'll send them another letter saying thank you. A couple weeks, we'll send them another offer or whatever.
Okay. So with voicemail drops, I totally understand why there would be a VA involved because you get a whole lot of hate calls and a lot of wasted time. We actually have our voice drops just go right back to voicemail. I don't know whether it's 100% the right way and or wrong way, but we definitely don't want to have anyone waste their time in our business. So it goes back to voicemail because if they do leave a voicemail, we know they're serious. And there's such small amount of serious people out there that we don't feel like we're genuinely dropping the ball on a lot of leads because there's not that many people based around a voice drop that we believe are going to be terribly serious.
Yeah, that's what we did with the last one, is we had a voicemail on call rail so that it called back and they would leave a message. And there was only 4 voicemails that I heard and they were all F-offs.
Yep.
Right. And that was because the call rail was set up to automatically come to my phone number. And then after we got that fixed and set up the recording, that's where those 4 started coming in. But I have them on my actual voicemail. Now, not to kind of interrupt, the man with the post the letters is just came on, Ryan.
Hey guys, how's
We
it
were
going?
talking about what you do. So just to take a 5 minutes kind of and let him explain so you understand what we're talking about, Justin, as far as the mailings.
Sure.
Hey Justin, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I don't believe we've met, but your name looks familiar to me.
Okay. Very good. Well, I just think your artistic whole light on you, black background, I think this is awesome. Are we doing a podcast? I don't know what's going on here.
We actually were doing a podcast, and this is our setup for it that I've been using for my Zooms. So I'm not normally this fabulous. It's just already set up. So
Got it.
Cool, Alan. So what did you want me to get into? Go over?
So like the conversation yesterday with the mailings, how you do them with the handwritten with the ink pen and the different options and stuff like that, and your rate of return.
Give me 2 seconds. Let me. I've actually got my examples right here.
So Justin, in the meantime, are you kind of saying, I don't know if this is right or not, but for the ringless voicemails, those are okay to go to a VA or a voicemail. Oh God, my phone. But for like the yellow letters, if someone's actually going to call us with a postcard, that should actually go to one of us for now until we're really busy, maybe.
That's where I was going with that is the voice drops can go to a voicemail or a VA. I'm okay with either one, whatever you guys prefer. I personally just let it go to voicemail. But you guys are just simply not bringing in enough leads to not answer live for direct mail.
Okay. I completely agree. So I'm glad you read.
And so I'm gonna always, listen, I'm gonna always just shoot you guys straight. And so when I say that, I'm not saying you're not busy, but I would tell you if you feel like you're busy, it's only because you're doing shit. You're doing things to make you feel busy, not that are actually generating any revenue. Now, with respect to, I understand you guys are flipping and you probably have management of the flips and all. I get all that. You hire a project manager in that case. You don't do it yourself because the management of the rehab doesn't make you money per se. Answering a call from direct mail will. So that's a lot of stuff that we'll go over the next several months. But you guys right at this very moment in time are not even bringing in enough leads not to answer those calls live. So I agree. That's the point there.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we've really got like 3 options that we do. So this is probably like our most well known. So they're actually custom designed for the market. So this was a city in Florida, full color, front and back. And if you look closely at this, the image is also watermarked. So it's got a full color background on it as well. So it really coincides with the piece that they're getting. So with these, our pricing on these is a little tricky because the materials are custom designed for the client, right?
Sure.
So it's not something I'm going to do 1,000 pieces for. So we currently sell these in 10,000 piece quantities. It's like $900 for 10,000 pieces plus the custom design on them. And then we charge like $1. It depends on volume. We're pretty flexible on these, but basically $1.05 per piece after your material costs are paid. So you figure about $1.15 a letter. They're inserted, sealed, stamped. We use first class, 55-cent stamps. We actually box them up and ship them to you guys. So they're postmarked locally. So you get the completed mail, cut it open, dump it out. With those, our clients, it depends on the market. I would say our average on the high end is about $2,500 or 2,500 pieces, per deal. And that's in markets like Long Island, New York, Orlando, California, etc. I actually just heard from our partner in Denver that he's averaging about a deal for every 1,000 pieces. Here in the Midwest, I'm about 1,200. And that's just absentee with high equity. So that's those. Those are my baby. Those are the bread and butter pieces. We came up with a couple other options for people that can't drop like 13 grand up front. So we've got pre-printed stock And we're actually going to redesign these once our stock is out, because these are honestly not my favorite. With these, though, we're going to print the client's name and return address up here, but where it's actually going is going to be written in ballpoint ink, so it's hand addressed. And then we have two options with those. So we have one where it's got logo at the top. Everything's actually written in ballpoint ink. All of it is. And then whatever you want at the bottom. So like on mine, we've got that we're BBB accredited, our website, our address, basically like a mini letterhead, right? On these, we do 750 of them for $1,000. Pretty straightforward, pretty easy to do. And then our budget option, literally the same thing. So one of our two custom envelopes, we actually print on it though in like a font, but then it's wet signed with ballpoint ink. And then you still get the ballpoint ink address and where it's going to. And those are just $1 a piece. So those are kind of our three options. We've done this for a long time, about 3 years now. It's just kind of been a, me and friends. I've used it as a networking tool. Like I do all of Mark Ferguson's mail. It's been a little bit more of like a kind of on the download deal, but we've decided to take it public at this point with the amount of capacity that we can put out. Questions?
I mean, if anything, I'd like to be able to see them. I mean, can you send me some copies or whatever you have?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just hard for me to see it. You're like this big on my screen. So.
No, that's totally fine. Trust me, I get it. If you go to, I'll throw it in chat. You can see some high quality images, and then I can even mail you a couple samples if you want.
Okay. So, based around.
Yesterday about.
Go ahead.
About you were talking yesterday, the comparison from, DL letters and all that other stuff, your rate of return compared to that, you were saying it was like 3 to 1.
So in Orlando, we did a case study with one of our clients for all of 2018. He sent postcards and he sent our letters. Cost per acquisition at the end of the year, postcards were $7,000. We were $3,000. I can get into my philosophy and my thoughts behind it all day long. Ultimately, you're sending something. The kind of calls we get in our market is, "Hey, I've never got anything like this before," which they don't. I mean, I own 57 units here locally. I get stuff all the time. I'm not worried about any of my competition.
Mm-hmm. So just so we're aware, Alan, what we were talking about was callback ratio. So he's talking about cost per deal. Mm-hmm. Just totally different numbers, right? So that's why when you were saying what you were saying, Alan, I just obviously didn't believe it. So just so you know, I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm saying Alan was thinking that he was getting a 3% callback ratio. Is that the case, or was he just
I don't know. I could ask that particular client. All he tracked, all the numbers he passed to us was his cost per acquisition.
Sure.
In my personal market, I know I'm not getting 3%. Again,
no one is. That's why when he said that, I just said that's outrageous. But
yeah,
I'm not saying anything about what you're doing. I think it's awesome. I'd like to see it, because right now when you hold it up, literally it's just like a little paper.
It's like a quarter.
Yeah.
Let me look at mine real quick. Hang on. So I'm just pulling up my.
So while I think this is helpful, this could definitely be a different call. Just because we're running out of time, guys. And I want to make sure you guys have actionable stuff to the next call. If you can, Alan, can you get, or how do you want to exchange? How do you want to get my email? You want to just write it down real quick?
I should have it, I think.
Or just give it to him, so I can see what you guys would be sending out. General sense, it's very small, but it looks different in a general sense. That's great. And then making sure your list, like it's already on here, what list are you sending it to? Based around today's call, though, I want to make sure that the actionable items are set. So what I have, and there could be some more I want to be added to this, but you need to know what list you're going to send the mail out to. Get mail set up and sent out before our next call, which also means you need to have Podio set up with a call rail number going directly into Podio for that mail, which some of this may or may not be done.
So when you say the call rail numbers going directly to Podio, explain
If it's
that.
not answered live,
'Cause I'm
which
not-
I think you guys should be answering your direct mail live. But if you are busy, Alan,
Okay.
and you can't answer live, it needs to go directly into Podio as a lead from the call. That happens through call rail, so it's a call rail number. Zapier will take that call
Right.
and automatically populate it as a lead in Podio, so that 10 minutes later you can call the lead back.
Okay.
I would like to get your Podio guy's information.
Yep. So I got to get. Who am I connecting them to?
Me would be nice.
Who's speaking? I can't see who's talking.
Shauna.
Donna, I can put
Shauna.
email in the chat if that makes it.
Perfect. That'll be great. So I have to get that done. Alan.
Ellen and I have to come up with our message for our campaign.
I would think that it's up to. I'm sorry, the direct mail guy's name. I forgot his name, but I would use what he uses. I don't think you guys come up with your own message.
Okay.
I think you guys still really need to set your goals. So I have on here, you guys need to look at 2019 together before our next meeting and say, here's how many deals we want to get done. Here's how many deals that are going to come from direct mail. Here's how many deals are going to come organically. Here's how many deals that are going to come from voicemail drops. And to set a goal so that it can be measured. Because then...
Is there a way for you to see my screen?
At the bottom where it says share screen, it's an arrow.
Okay. I want to share, and you can tell me what numbers are right or wrong. Can you see it now?
It's black. Oh, there it goes. I can see it.
I cannot.
Anybody else see it or not see it?
I can see you, but I can't see the arrow. Or the black screen.
Right.
Oh, now I got it. Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
So right now, if we have a revenue that we're requesting for is 7,000 or 700,000, weekly revenue of 14,000. Annual deals, weekly deals, leads, weekly leads, marketing budget, self-generated JV, referrals, weekly deals, leads per contract. I have it at 25, cost per lead 20. So I don't know what numbers are really correct. Down
Your
in
cost
this
per
area.
lead is going to be higher than that. You're going to be closer to about 150, 200. And quite frankly, that's something that's not necessarily terribly measurable right now as a moment in time because we're just putting this together, right? So all three of those come through Chris and Larissa, or just Chris, or however you guys are making that work, right? The remaining, scroll up a little bit. Are you scrolling up? Am I at the top? There you go.
Yeah.
1,600 leads. We just talked about your direct mail spend, right? I mean, you won't get there, I don't think, this year to bring that. I mean, you're not going to bring that many in. Because even in the case that you have a true 1%, if you're sending out 1,000 mail pieces, right? Because if your marketing budget is $2,500 and he's roughly $1 per mail piece, you're going to be sending out 1,000. 1% is 10. I mean, so you got to do that 3 times roughly. Well, twice if you're 1 in 20, but if you're 1 in 25, then you got to do it roughly 3 times. See what I'm talking about? So if you just work the math backwards, you guys are.
Even if our houses are less expensive, it still works out to be the same number.
Well, where's your profit? Where's your average profit?
It's 50. I don't know.
I've got it at 7,000.
Okay. Yeah, the price of the home doesn't dictate value of lead.
Okay.
typically.
We're just in like a poorer market, so I feel like there's less jobs, more unemployment.
It absolutely could, right? But that's something you guys are going to have to track. Because
Okay.
you guys could beat these, right? You could end up converting 1 out of 15 leads, which would be great. It's just that's really good, right? So I'd rather be a lot more realistic with your expectations.
Okay.
So if you're only doing direct mail, you won't get there. So now it's about what else are you doing to bring in that many leads? Make sense? So now, are you doing voicemail drops? Awesome. Are you doing driving for dollars? Are you doing cold calling? Are you doing, door knocking, bandit signs, the 6 that I'm doing? Are you doing anything else? PPC is out, way too expensive. So are you doing driving for dollars? And if not, why not? I would tell you that. Your team's big enough to do it. Bandit signs are very effective. They have a low lead flow, but valuable leads, meaning much more motivated. So it won't increase your leads, but it could very easily increase your deals because the motivation of people calling bandit signs. You are now going to have to start doing that kind of stuff. Does that all make sense to you guys? That's where the rubber is going to meet the road.
What's that PPC thing?
PPC's pay-per-click.
Pay-per-click. Oh, okay.
That's just way too expensive for you guys right now.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a function of leads.
So the way I had it envisioned was, okay, we put out our mailers on X day. 2 days later, drop them a ringless voicemail to that person saying, hey, I sent you out a postcard. Did you receive it? Blah, blah, blah. Wait a day or two. Same thing with the text message, blah, blah, blah. And then follow up with a cold call or email blast with them. So we're hitting them 5 different ways, in a sequence of events. So, they get their letter. 2 days later, they're getting a voicemail from us asking that they got it. Hopefully they, call us. Then with the text, then calling them personally, and email blast and text blasts.
Okay. I think that sounds great. I think it's just going to remain to be seen what type of results you're going to get from it. So then how much are you spending on
texting?
texting?
Other things from once we hit $199 a month for 2,500 unlimited blasts.
Okay. So that has to go in your marketing budget, right? So that's $100 a month or $200 a month or whatever it is. I think that flow sounded fine to me, but I don't know. I mean, obviously we won't have anything based around you guys haven't started it. So I don't know what to say based around I can't judge the results of it. So this looks, can you bring 886 leads in? Yes. The key to all this whole thing will be the self-generated in terms of your leads are that low right now because you guys are getting deals done self-generated. If that does not hit 36, watch the numbers. Make all those 5. Make all 3 of those 5. You're going to have to bring in a lot more leads. So a lot of that pressure lands on Chris and Larissa. Right? You just went from 886 now to 1,400 because they got half as many deals brought in through self-generated. So that puts a lot of pressure on them to make sure that they're doing every single day. Part of my tasks in here and part of my actions is they need to, you guys daily, because your marketing budget, this is a function of your budget. Because your budget is $2,500 a month, we could even round that up to $3,000 if you really want. You have to get deals done self-generated. There is no other way to get $500,000 to the door without daily networking, sitting down with realtors, loan bro. It doesn't matter who, right? Other wholesalers, hard money lenders, you name it. Every day, you guys have to have actionable meetings, calls saying we need more deals. Bring us what you got. We need off market. I can help you. Oh, rookie investor, here, let me help you do X, Y, and Z. All those things have to be a function of you guys. The marketing is going to speak for itself, but based around your budget, it's going to be very hard to get, a lot of lead flow. So that's just a consistency in all of it, right? So I would also say you need to bring in driving for dollars, right? So I would suggest based around we're over time and I got to go. But, right, Alan, who's driving for dollars? Who's using our app that you can go pull up the home, send them a direct mail, give them a cold call, be in front of their home, door knock them, and make an offer? Who's doing that? Who's putting out the bandit signs? Who's doing the other things to bring in other leads, right?
I don't have that app.
Go to Marketing
I know
Mentor
about it.
Deal Machine, marketingmentordealmachine.com, marketingmentordealmachine.com. Set up an account. It's free. Then the videos will point you to downloading the actual app off of iTunes, which I believe is whatever. I believe that's free, but then to kind of get access to the cool shit of the app is like $100 a month, I think we pay. Who's cold calling 4 hours a day? That's $150 a month that you can cold call 4 hours a day. Who are doing those items? So a lot of that stuff is going to be talked through on more of our calls. But the functionality of your marketing budget will dictate the efforts that need to be put into the business. And it can't just be work. It needs to be driving revenue. I would rather you guys inundated with leads and frantic than, not. So the more cold calling, the more door knocking, the more driving for dollars, the more bandit signs, the more mail you guys can put out, the better off you're going to be. And then as you guys are making money, obviously your spend can go up, right? You take 15, 20% of all your profits, put it back into marketing. So this will be a function of quickly getting some revenue so you can put some more of that revenue into marketing. So it takes a little pressure off of Chris and Larissa, though I still think you shoot for the goal of 36 deals. I mean, I don't think, regardless of your increased marketing budget, you should never take away the self-generated. Any last questions from you guys?
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much, Justin.
Of course, guys, of course.